oftentimes you see that, with the Emperor energy, you see someone sitting in their ego, but I think that this Emperor is very calm. Maybe in the past, maybe in the near past even, this Emperor was dealing with kind of a tower moment in their own feelings, in their own mind, going through some of these realizations. But I think that they're kind of coming to a place, at least they're in control of themselves. They're not going off the rails where they maybe have in the past. But I think that this Emperor understands that, they're not in complete control of what might happen. Things could go their way, things could not go their way. And they understand that. And they understand that they can't change the past. And that the result of it is ultimately, their own heart, their sadness, losing something that you didn't even really know that you had. Kind of makes you feel like you can't fix it, like it's too late, like you missed the time, you missed the opportunity. And I think that this person is really wishing for and hoping, and trying to muster up inside themselves the ability to transform and change things that might have taken place in the past between the two of you. And I think that they're seeing, in the past, in which they didn't understand, they're seeing you in the past as the sun. Now, this person may not have treated you that way at all in the past, but I think that they're understanding now, you were very much the light in their life. You were always there, and you were shining this bright light in their life, and, possibly they were in a dark place then, and maybe that's why they weren't seeing all of this. But they know now that you are the one bringing them warmth. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be sitting on a beach somewhere, with the sun on you and the warm sand and the warm water? Who doesn't want that? I am seeing that I think, possibly you, or maybe the other person, take it as it resonates. You're trying to balance with this energy. You're feeling some sort of swirl, some sort of energy coming your way. Something is it's starting to take motion. You can sense it in the energy. We have Two of Swords here and Two of Pentacles. And I think both of those is just kind of seeing, it's like, the train's about to take off. The train's starting to move. It's trying to kind of like leave the station. Where is it going to be going? And I think that you're ready for what is to come, kind of the same way that the Emperor is, except, I think that the other person that you're dealing with sort of has this like major sobriety that they're going through. Maybe they've lost a certain disillusionment and they're experiencing a sobriety that they haven't experienced before. But I think that you very much sense this person changing, or maybe you've witnessed it, or maybe you've had some sort of exchange with this person. But you see yourself in the past holding your own. In the past, you see yourself in the relationship as the Nine of Pentacles. And you're seeing yourself as, you had everything there, you weren't quite at the Ten of Pentacles because, things never completed with this person. You never got to the 10 with this person, but you brought the 9. You brought, everything you had. And, the lady is standing there with the bird and her pentacles and, just seems to be very secure. Like, here I am. I did this and here I am. And this is what you brought. You see that in the past. And I think that that's something that the person did not see then. All of those shiny pentacles that you were bringing, all of the energy that you were providing to this person, whether it was practically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, just all of the above. I think that even sensing that this might be going on with this person, that a lot of you really feel and know that what is trying to take place right now, what has to take place, is justice, a sort of balancing of the scales in regards to this energy, this relationship, the exchanges that you've had with this person. That it's kind of like, if something was so incredibly lopsided, it's how do we put, enough weight on this side for it to be balanced out, but also, to make sure that the balance don't, flop the opposite direction, but they actually, have a level. They're going to level out and they're going to stay that way. That's what's going to provide peace. And in a way, it almost kind of seems, and I think both sides even know, I think both sides even question whether there could be enough to really balance out the scales, depending on kind of what might have taken place between the two of you in the past, the difficulties or however severe the hurts might have been that took place in the past. I think that's a challenge, but also it's understood, that this is an eventuality. I think that in terms of the larger scale of things, cumulatively, like not just with you, but I think that the universe itself, the cosmos, is interested in finding order to this. So it's kind of like, how do we find this order? And I think a lot of that is trying to come through in this eclipse energy that's taking place. I think that I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible that we are about to see some of these things take place and play out, to the other side. Maybe we have to stay very agile with the energies that are coming through right now, because it's certainly very intense. But I see that a lot of you out there in the collective are trying to stay balanced. And in a sense too, not that it is justice, it's not in any kind of way a completion. I wouldn't imagine that, it would be satisfying anyone in particular, to know that this other person knows that their heart is broken, not just because of what they might have done to you, but also for the loss that their heart feels. Like they genuinely feel, the stabbing and the pain and the loss of something that they didn't even realize that they had, something that they've always longed for, something that, they really are willing to try to resurrect ultimately. I think that is it. I think it is. I think this is sort of, this has to be some sort of a resurrection, because I think, for them, it's not, in this Three of Swords that I'm seeing here, I'm almost seeing like a Ten of Swords sort of thing. I'm seeing, there are as many swords in this that could have been put in this situation, in this relationship. But yet they still, they want there to be a shot, they want there to be an opportunity, and I think that they do believe that it is worth it, that it's worth it. I think that this is heart motivated. I think that the pain is actually motivating them. And like I said earlier, you know, pain is a great teacher. You know, our injuries, they're great teachers because they allow us the opportunity to transform. And that is actually something that is an innate ability that we have as creatures of this universe. You know, the eternal existence of energy and life and of spirit only takes place through transformation. Everything is essentially recycled, you know, and we stay in certain things until, you know, we can't take it anymore, and we change, we transform, we go through this alchemical process, this inside out process, something that's driven, you know, by our essence, by our core. And sometimes sometimes that pain or that poison, you know, has to get so deep for a person to even change, you know. I want to say that that's unfortunate, but I believe that it just happens to be the process, especially, you know, as human beings, the life that we live here. And I don't see it necessarily as unfortunate. I just see it as necessary, you know, necessary, and also, you know, that we certainly have the ability to survive it. You know, we are strong as hell. We are so strong. We go through so much, and we survive, you know. There's certainly something to say about that. You know, we go through things, and it's not a matter of saying, like, I'm a victim. Like, and I think it's wonderful because I think that the person that you're dealing with is actually feeling that injury, but not sitting there saying, you know, that they're a victim. They want to be the magician in the situation. You know, they are letting the process change them. They're going through that alchemical process right now, and they don't know what's going to happen on the other side of it, but they really want to see it through. So I'm going to do a kind of, where is this all going? Okay, so in both of these spreads, the moon card came out. The moon card actually came out in the outcome of the relationship spread that I did, which to me just says, again, these eclipses are trying to shuffle through a lot of the energy that might have been stagnant. There's a lot of realizations that seem to be taking place. I just heard love will have its final say. These spreads are showing what's happening in the energy and what is happening with the people involved in the situation, you and the other person. Anticipation of what might happen from either's perspective. But I think that there is, you know, a higher perspective to see here. And what I'm seeing is, you know, there is very much a potential for a new start here. But definitely there is some fear involved. There is some fear involved. There is, I think, lessons to be learned, not just in terms of pain, but in terms of love. And I actually, in the outcome of this Celtic cross spread, what I'm seeing is the Queen of Swords. And what I'm seeing here is that, you know, there's going to be a moment of understanding, and it's going to cut through what I'm actually seeing is a lot of disillusion. a lot of understanding, you know, because whatever has taken place here between you and someone else, it's already happened. You know, whether you had a relationship with this person, um, something took place and it's definitely in the past. This is not something that's going on now. What happened, happened, and it's like it can't be changed. And everybody knows what happened. At some point in time, maybe the other person really didn't know or was in denial, and maybe you were too. Maybe you didn't completely understand. Maybe you didn't think that this person could have possibly been the type of person, or you know, whatever kind of injury might have taken place in the past. Maybe both parties, you know, didn't want kind of the truth to be the truth. But I think that it's understood for what it is. But I think, you know, the person that you're dealing with, and maybe not so much yourself as much, but the other person is kind of coming to terms with this in a way that they never have before, and sort of equating to, you know, maybe they don't deserve, you know, maybe in terms of thinking of like karma, you know, or what they did in the past and what they might deserve, or what would be a result for them from their past actions. But they want a different outcome than something that they really deserve, in terms of like karma, in terms of, you know, you do bad, you get bad. You know, if this person rejected you, then the karma is like that then you reject them. But the reality of it is that, you know, that's not really how love works. You know, and all of the tools that we have, I mean, cause and effect is karma, and that's as we best know. But as you live your life and you learn these lessons, you understand that you have all of these tools to use as the alchemist. And love is a great tool. Forgiveness is a great tool. Peace is a great tool. Grace is a great tool, you know? And I think that when some of these tools are actually used, because one way or the other, I do believe that both parties here, you and the person that you're thinking about, have actually honed in on these tools yourselves, individually, separate from each other. And I think that when the truth comes out, you know, when the result of this kind of comes out, it's going to, you know, cut through like the Queen of Swords. Not so much like Icy or anything like that, but she's the one for the job. She's the one who's going to cut through a lot of the disillusionment to bring the truth. And I think that it's definitely coming through this full moon. But I do see a new energy trying to take place here. With a lot of fear and anxiety. That fear and anxiety is coming from a reflection of pain and hurt inside. Inside of what I'm seeing is someone's heart chakra. I think actually a little bit more this other person, and we can always use more healing. We can always use more healing. There are always things to be healed. You know, it's an ongoing process. It truly is. I think someone is kind of coming into the healing fast where, you know, the other person, I'm sensing that it would be the person listening to this message. Maybe you've been involved in your healing process or focused on it, you know, a bit longer. So it's something that's kind of, you take more time with, it's a little bit more of a steady rhythm to it. And for this person, I think it's happening a little faster. And they're kind of, you know, wondering, okay, or are we going to go back off the rails, you know? They're having a little bit of this 9 energy, wanting to be able to be deserving of what it is that they might have given up in the past or taken for granted in the past. I'm hearing that this person that you're dealing with is it's going through a very unique emotional and mental experience in regards to understanding that they were the person who caused the defeat for themselves. You know, that this person was so focused on winning, you know, in life, in the world, in all of their endeavors. And even though that was their aim and their focus, what they actually ended up doing was creating their own defeat. And they put so much energy and effort into these things, and it turned out to be not at all what they thought it was going to be. Not at all what they thought they were trying to do, and realizing that what they were doing was, you know, creating this for themselves. And so I think that when the truth comes through in this moon here, in this lunar eclipse that's coming up, it's very much going to be with this sword here. There's going to be, I think, a little bit of probably shock and awe for both sides. Now this can play out, you know, before the eclipse, during the eclipse, after the eclipse. You know, the eclipse energy and the eclipse time periods certainly have an aura that kind of extends beyond the dates themselves. So it can play out as it plays out in the time that it plays out. And of course, eclipse energy seems to unfold for about 6 months after the eclipse until the next sequential eclipse. But I think that there is just, to me, this sword is truth. And I think that there is truth coming for both parties in regards to this relationship and these energies. And it is absolutely being brought through the moon here and these eclipses that are taking place. I really see actually the two dogs here, you know, looking up and howling at the moon. I see them as ready to receive, and the truth here is coming for them. And it's going to come sharp. And I don't think that it's necessarily about pain. And I think that honestly, there's no way that it can be more painful than this Three of Swords. There's no way that it's going to be more painful. You know, she's the Queen of Swords here. She's going to bring the truth. And it's going to be understood. And honestly, I think that it's going to be very much a surprise. There's confusion here. There's a lot of things that have taken place in the past. You know, maybe both parties and both sides have kind of resignated to, you know, accepting things as they are, as they seem to be, you know, according to the things that have taken place between you and this other person, you know. And if this is certainly something that has happened in the past, which very much seems that way, you know, there's this kind of, it happened, you know, it took place, and an acceptance of it, and, you know, neither one necessarily, you know, wholeheartedly believing that there is a way forward from it, but I think, you know, inside of both you and this other person, I think that there is very much a heart's desire and a wish that things could be resurrected, that things could be sorted out, that love could prevail. And I think that that's tough because I think especially in the twin flame soulmate journey, I mean, there's a reason why we go through a lot of failed relationships. And for better or worse, you know, every relationship that I've had that failed, I do understand, you know, at this point in time that relationship failed for the lack of real love. It was not real love. And real love isn't just one person pouring themselves into a relationship. You could have loved someone all day, every day, been loyal, provided, you know, been good to them, cared for them, you know, looked out for them, had their back, supported their dreams, their ambitions, their family, their friends. I mean, you could have been perfect. But the actuality is, love is a back and forth. True love is when two people truly feel the same and love each other. It's certainly not a one-sided thing, and I think somehow it's something so rare to find in this world. Everybody's kind of going in many different directions, and it's very rare for two people to really arrive at the same place in love. And to me, I believe that's what a twin flame is. And it is something that's very rare in this world. The two people arrive to the same place in love. But for those whose souls know each other, you gravitate towards each other again and again and again until it is permanent. At some point or another, you give up and you retire in terms of learning certain lessons. You go on, not necessarily to the next level, but there comes a point in time where you don't have to continue to learn the same lessons that preoccupy you or that hold you back from your life, from love, from the people that you want to be with, that you would choose to be with. All of these things that we're entangled in until we learn the lessons, we are continuing to be entangled in those. And I think that, when you can find grace and peace and you're willing to be truthful with yourself and honest, then you can ultimately you can align inside yourself and the person that you are meant to be with, the person that you are drawn to, and also the person that is drawn to you. It's equal. It's an equal love. You may be different and dynamic in so many different ways, but the love is truly equal. And the force comes together and, you create something wonderful, but it is something wonderful. It's meant to be valued. It's not provided to people who don't know how to value that type of love. It's not provided to people who haven't learned lessons or understand or might value other things over that. That person has some lessons to learn. It's not going to be provided to them yet. And it's not that they don't deserve it. It's not that the pull isn't there. It's that, they have to learn and shift themselves and align. And oftentimes it comes through a tremendous amount of grace and humility, and also, in all honesty, a tremendous amount of pain. If we just felt good all the time, nobody would ever try to evolve. Pain is a great motivator. Pain keeps us moving forward. Pain keeps us evolving. And evolution brings us towards our destiny of who we really are, forging, what we are really meant to be, to become, to unfold into in this world as a human being, as a spiritual being. It's a cumulative thing. And it's worthwhile, even as a human being, if we, only live 100 years here, if we live 50 years here, the time allotted that we have here is worth cultivating, and bringing together all of these parts of who we are, all of these layers, and, becoming the essence of who we are, shedding whatever needs to be shed and bringing the truth forward. It's worth living. Ultimately, twin flames come together when they both choose life, because it's only in life that we find these things, and we have to learn, that things that are not life, are not in our best interest. And how much do you want to suffer to learn that lesson? How much do you want to suffer to learn what is not good for you? How much do you want to keep torturing yourself, until you learn what's good for you and what's not good for you? To be able to be given something so valuable, something that is truly gold, to have that and to live it, and it's worth it, absolutely. So that is my message. I hope that it's helped somebody out there, even if it's just one person. It's helped me just to be able to come on here and say these things. I don't think that I'm the only one that is going through this, and certainly I hope not. But I certainly believe that there are others out there that are going through this, and maybe they won't be connected to my video, but I think still in essence and in energy, even just the act of putting it out there, makes some sort of effect. And for those of you who have watched all the way to the end, thank you, and bless you. Life is hard. Life is tough, and it's also extremely rewarding. Never give up. Even when you want to, even when, anxiety is just coming down on you, the things that matter to us most in the end, they speak from a place that's very deep inside of us. And it doesn't shut up. It doesn't shut up until you listen, We can torture ourselves, or we can live. I choose to live, and I choose to live every day. And I hope that you do as well. So I thank you again, and happy eclipse season. I'm going to come back and try to do some more of these messages as I feel led to and called to do. So blessings to you all, and take care.